Okay, so in this case, you are asked to come up with a polynomial that has certain properties. In particular, you have to know that it has degree 5, a leading coefficient of 1, and then has to have certain roots. And the way that you do that, I say, is just kind of work backwards. Starting with the roots, okay, we have 1 at x equals 5, x equals 0, and x equals negative 3. So you would take each one of those equations and then pretty much bring the number over to the other side, and that would give you the factor for the polynomial. So for x equals 5, for example, you'd write it as x minus 5, and that's your first factor. When you have x equals 0, well, bringing 0 over, you would have x minus 0, but that's just x. And both of these factors have multiplicity 2, right? So what that means in this case is that each factor would be raised to the power 2. So you have x minus 5 squared and also x squared. Then you have another root at x equals negative 3, and then that would contribute the factor of x plus 3. Okay, and so this here, it has multiplicity 1. That means you would raise it to the power 1. And normally when you do that, you don't write the 1, but you can if you want to. So these are the main factors of your polynomial. And so we took care of the roots. All right, now let's deal with the leading coefficient. The leading coefficient is 1, so you would just put a 1 out in front, and of course 1 times anything is going to give you 1. So far what we have is, we can write it as x squared times x minus 5 squared times x plus 3 to the 1, and then all of this times the leading coefficient of 1. 1 times anything is just that thing back, so you can also just drop that times 1, and that takes care of the leading coefficient part. And then the last bit is making sure that your polynomial has degree 5. So let's make sure that that's the case, and then what we got to do here is look at the degrees of each one of the factors. So we have a 2 and a 2 and a 1 here. When you add up all those degrees, that gives you the number 5. And so we do have that our polynomial has degree 5, and so we're done with that degree part. And pretty much that's how you put your polynomial together.